All right, Mets fans. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. I know I mentioned in my previous video for the few people that watched it that when it comes to the Subway Series during the regular season, I just consider them same as any other game, really, and I stand by that. And in the grand scheme of things, a win in any of these games is worth a win any other time, same as with a loss. But I'll tell you what, watching the games, you can really feel the atmosphere. The fans get excited. You get fans for both teams packing the stands. And you can really see it in the players' faces that they, are hyped up for it. They feed off the fans getting excited. And in the moment, at least, these games could seem a little bit bigger. All the guys interviewed after the games mentioned that it felt like a playoff atmosphere. Hopefully, we get to experience that this year. But yeah, I mean, in the moment, it is a different animal. But we need to just focus on winning games really at this point, no matter who we're playing against. And this weekend we were able to take two or three from the Yankees who came across town to play us. So we'll take a look at the series as a whole. First game, Mets dropped to the Yankees 5-2. Second game, we took the victory 6-3. And then on Sunday afternoon, thrilling game. Mets were able to come back and win in 10 innings on 7-6. It was the first time the Mets came back to win after losing through 8 innings since that playoff game against Milwaukee where Pete Alonso hit the home run. That's over a year. So all last year, all of this year, we weren't able to do it, and that was 96 consecutive losses when losing through 8 innings. So uh, at least one monkey off our back so far. But hey, let's get. I really want to talk about that third game, but we'll do the other game some justice as well. So in game one, Friday night, had Clay Holmes on the mound for the Mets, going against Cam Schlittler for the Yankees. Scoring started in the third with Rice single, a Judge single, then a Bellinger RBI double, and Jazz Chisholm had a 2 RBI double. So we're down 3-0. Not something that we're too, I wouldn't say we're not worried about it, but we're accustomed to it. As we saw in the Detroit series, we were down every game and came back and won every game. Uh, don't want to continue this trend, but hey, at least we feel like, you know, we could get some hits and claw back into these games when we're down early. Uh, Went into the fourth. Holmes then got hit by a comebacker, hit off his leg. He was able to stay in. He got the bases loaded at that point and was able to force a pop out from Judge to get out of the inning. Mets came up in the fourth inning and down 3-0. Schlittler was dealing. He struck out Soto there, and it looked like he tweaked something on the swing. He wasn't looking too hot afterwards. Last thing we need is another guy to go down right now, and especially Soto, who already missed a decent amount of time. But he was able to stay in the game. Holmes, however, he was lifted after in the fifth inning after one out. Jones had an RBI single to put the Yankees up 4-0. So instead of us trying to catch up, the Yankees are extending the lead at that point. Soto came up then in the 7th, still facing Schlittler. He hit one out to make it 4-1. And then also in that inning, we had guys on second and third, and Ewing hit one out to the close to the morning track. There was one out. It would have been a sac fly, but there was 2 outs, so that ended the inning. Go to the 9th inning. Rice hits a home run off Kimbrel, who was pitching at that point, to make it 5-1. And then in the bottom of the 9th, the Mets were able to score one more with Melendez getting a single. He took second base, and then Beatty knocked him in with a single. Final score was 5-2. It was announced after the game that Clay Holmes actually had a fractured either fibula or tibula, one of the leg bones. Right there, another guy down. Not looking good for him to be returning this season. I did see that it's not going to require surgery. I mean, the fact that he even was able to continue on after that was a little bit encouraging, but once he was removed and they got a chance to look at it, and then after the game they announced that he had the broken bone. He's even without surgery, I'm sure he's going to miss a couple months if he returns at all. But I mean, we'll see. We could talk about his situation as far as a relationship with the team and his contract situation some at the end, but for now he's out, and we don't really know too much of if he's going to return. So Holmes went 4 1/3, 8 Ks, gave up the 4 runs on 7 hits and 2 walks. He was looking good in the beginning, and then they had that 3-run inning that definitely hurt us, put us back, and then it continued in the 4th with him getting hit on the leg. Warren came in for an inning and 2/3. No runs. Myers, two innings pitched with no runs, and then Kimbrel gave up the Rice home run for the 5th run for the Yankees. The Mets only had 1 hit and 1 walk through 6 innings against Schlittler, who that guy is. He looks really good. He's making a name for himself. With what he did last year for the Yankees and in the playoffs for them, and then so far this year he's been one of the best pitchers so far. He had 9 strikeouts. We couldn't get anything off of him until the Soto home run, which was nice to see that we're fighting back a little bit, but we need the whole team to contribute. Ewan had to fly out. After that, we tried to get a little rally going, but we couldn't score anything else until the 9th. And then, we had Melendez there getting on base. Beatty knocked him in. All of that off Bednar, their closer, who we forced him to work a little bit in the game 1. So that's a little bit of a victory sometimes, especially in the first game of a series. All right, so we lose the first one 5-2. Move on to game 2. We got Brazoban doing the little opener thing again. He was going against Carlos Rodon, who was making only his 2nd start of the season so far. He was just returning from injury for them. Brazoban didn't give up anything at 2 Ks in an inning and a third. Peterson then relieved him. The Yankees scored the first run in the 2nd inning on a Grisham RBI single. Mets fought back, took the lead in the 3rd on a Benj double. Then Bichette and Soto walked, and then just a weird play with Rodon pitching, bases loaded at that point, and it looked like he was trying to throw a high fastball. It just went really high off the backstop, came back to him, and he tried to make some kind of play to grab the ball and throw it home. I mean, one run was going to score easily there, and then with him trying to do the hero, Derek Jeter imitation or something like that. It was very ill advised on his part to try to barehanded and throw it, but we got 2 runs on that one, put us up 2-1 after 3. We came up in the 4th. Mets scored again on an RBI double to score Slater. Yankees battled back a bit in the 5th. Paul Goldschmidt with a RBI single to score Rice, cut it to 3-2. And then in our half of the 5th, we had Benj come up with a single, Soto walk, and then Vientos ripped one down the line for a 2-run double, extending the lead to 5-2. Viento's been coming up with some big hits lately. I mean, not every game, obviously, but he's doing some damage. He's looking solid. He's looking better even at first base. He'll have some mishaps here and there, but he's looking more comfortable there. Good to see anytime he could knock some runs in. We need his bat. We need him to produce runs for us, especially batting in that cleanup hole where he's been. So that put us up 5-2 in the 7th. Yankees cut it by 1, Judge double, and then Bellinger popped it up to Benj, who looked like he was trying to prepare himself to make a throw to third to try to challenge Judge if he tagged up, but he took his eye off the ball at the last second and it dropped in. That allowed Judge to score, and it was 5-3 at that point. Man, I gotta tell you, I really don't like the Fox coverage of this game. I don't like any time when it's not the SNY guys doing the game. They don't have the feel for the team, and it's expected because it's more of a national audience that they're presenting for. But like, they brought up the whole Luis Castillo drop against the Yankees years and years ago. What was that, 2009? That allowed them to win the game on just an infield pop. But they just had to bring it up, and it's like, come on, everyone knows that happened, but screw John Smoltz was just making comments throughout the whole game, and I don't really have anything against Smoltz. Obviously, he was a great player. He played on them Braves teams that kicked our ass for so many years, so he feels he has to rub it in. I don't know, but I could do it all that. I guess it's warranted to present the situation and everything, but I don't need to hear that. You know what I mean? This team has done enough to me over the years. I don't need to have it rubbed in. Anyway, after that play, then the Yankees did load the bases. That was all against Raley, who was pitching at the time. So we brought in Weaver, came in with the bases loaded and no outs. This guy, oh my God, showed some serious balls. Got 2 strikeouts to get 2 outs, and then we had a ground out to end the inning, so he got out of that. That was huge. You can tell, I mean, it goes to show, the importance of this series to the players, because we got a bunch of guys that have played with the Yankees even last year with, Weaver, Williams, obviously Soto, who they hate now, and they're going to hate on him forever till the end of time because he signed with us instead of them. But just a lot of guys. I mean, even our manager came from the Yankees, so we have a bunch of guys over from there. Clay Holmes, another one who has pitched for us last 2 years. A lot of close ties between the two teams. You could tell Weaver wanted it in that situation, and he came through, and then came out and pitched another inning, and didn't give up anything. Um, we were able to get another run then to extend the lead. Benj with a single, Soto with a single. He stole second then to make it second and third, and then Vientos hit a grounder to second baseman that score Benj from third. I'll tell you what, that was a heads up steal by Soto. Like, we don't need him stealing 38 bases like he did last year. It's like, I consider it too risky, but he knows what he's doing. He's a smart baseball player. He has great instincts. Stole second there. If he hadn't done that, it could have been a double play, and we don't score. We didn't need it in the end, but still, at that point of the game, we just got out of a tough situation, and then to add a run on top of it is huge. Like I said, Weaver then shut them down to eighth. Devin Williams came on in the ninth, got a 1-2-3 inning, and we take the second game, tie up the series, move on to Sunday, trying to win the series. Obviously, it's going to be tough playing against a good team. Have some good momentum going, especially coming off the sweep against the Tigers. And then if we could, make this a 5-1 homestand, that would be excellent. It's either, 5-1 or 4-2 at this point. So come to the rubber game, game 3. We got Freddie Peralta on the mound. Yankees are throwing Elmer Rodriguez. I believe it's his third start, if I'm not mistaken. Peralta didn't look sharp. He was wasting a lot of pitches. He was walking guy. He walked 2 guys at least on 4 pitches just throughout his start, and he was missing all over the place with just the fastball. So he was able to work around it a little bit. Yankees did start the scoring in the third with a Rice home run. This kid is going to be a superstar. That was his second home run of the series. Nothing too bad about that. I think he has 15 home runs already on the year. So, he's going to get you if you make a mistake. But, Peralta continued to cause trouble for himself. He was in and out of trouble the whole time. We were able to get one back in the fourth. We tied it on a Vientos single, Beatty single, and then Semien with an RBI double. Not sure why Beatty didn't score on that one. I mean, it's kind of a judgment call, I think, on the part of the base coach, maybe. I mean, Beatty's not the fastest guy, but he's not really slow. So I'll have to look again at that one. But I thought we could have got 2 there. We did load the bases, but Sanger ended up hitting a ground out to end the inning there. Came up in the 5th, trying to take the lead. We had runners at first and third. Tyrone Taylor up at that point hit a sharp liner to center that Grisham laid out for and made a excellent catch. That guy, I mean, he's solid in center field. We know that. We've seen him over the years, and then he was with San Diego. Hurt us a bunch. I believe it was 2 years ago. So that prevented us from scoring in that inning. Taylor, he came up, hit a nice ball, but just guy made a great play on it. We get to the 6th. Peralta's still in at that point. He walks the first 2 batters, and then he took him out of the game. At that point, he had pitched, 5 innings, only 4 strikeouts, but 6 walks he had. Like I said, a couple were on 3-0 counts, a couple were on 3-1 counts. It seemed like he was, really struggling to. He wasn't missing by a whole lot on most of these pitches, but it was enough to create just a lot of extra pitches, and obviously the traffic that comes with it. He only gave up 2 hits, but those two guys that he walked to start the inning, they ended up scoring. Mania had relieved. He loaded the bases, and then Volpe came up, hit a 2 RBI single to put the Yankees up 3-1. On that play, there was a close play at third. Taylor kind of threw it to the cutoff towards home. They grabbed it and threw it to third. It looked like they probably could have got the runner out at third. Just the way he slid and kind of did the little swim move to avoid the tag. It looked like they held the tag on him, but they didn't challenge it. I don't know if they looked at it. I'm sure they probably looked at it, maybe decided it was too close to challenge, but the runner remained at third there. Rosario, our old buddy Ahmed Rosario, came up, hit a sac fly to put the Yankees up 4-1. And then with 2 outs, Grisham comes up and hit a little pop up to deep short left field. Taylor looked like he could have easily come in and caught it, but Bichette was backing up and he just lost it, and it dropped in, allowing another run to score. At that point, we're down 5-1. It wasn't looking good at all. Battled back then in the bottom of the inning. Semien with a single, Ewing with a walk, and then Luis Torrens did his little tap in the right field line deal. Hit a 2-run double. We cut it to 5-3 at that point. Like I said, Torrens seems to have that little stroke in his back pocket. He pulls it out at opportune moments to give us a couple runs. Likes hitting it down that right side. You could tell he was definitely going for it too. So we were able to cut it to 5-3. Mania still on, facing the Yankees in the 7th. He loaded the bases and then walked Volpe to put the score to 6-3. Still wasn't, came back a little bit, and he just gives up that run to kind of nullify the comeback a little bit. So we go to the 9th. We didn't do anything in the 8th. We go to the 9th. They got their closer on, Bednar. We got him for a run in the first game, which we lost, but still made him work through 20-some pitches. In the 9th, Ben came up with a single. Bichette actually had a single. Okay? Believe it or not, Bichette had a single then. Soto came up, nearly hit into a double play, but was able to beat it out. So we got, first and third there. 1 out. Vientos comes up, strikes out on a high fastball. Down to our last out, Tyrone Taylor coming up. And I'm sure not many people had too much confidence that he was going to do much. I mean, he did have that one where he was robbed. He had another hit. He made good contact, just didn't fall in. This guy comes up, jacks one out right down the left field line, wrapped around the foul pole. Looked like a hanging slider or some kind of breaking pitch that he was just kind of set up on and swung out of his shoes and rocked it. It was like one of those balls you're following it down the line and you're like, there's no way this is going to be fair. There's no way this is going to be fair. Just Met fan trauma, but it was fair, and you could see the crowd just went crazy. The guys on base went crazy. The bench went crazy. We tied it up at that point. That was amazing. A little bit of what we've been seeing with the comeback wins, not quite to that level, but This time in the ninth, down 3. As I mentioned, we haven't had a comeback win like that since the 2024 playoffs. So uh, just to get that out of the way, almost scored another run to win it, but we couldn't quite get it done there. I was hoping they were going to win it there. That would have, I don't want to go to the 10th or, give them another opportunity. But we brought in Devin Williams in the 10th. He came in. He did walk a batter. The ghost runner at second did steal third. It was McMahon. He stole third. Walked Volpe after a strikeout. So we had first and third, one out. He made a, he got a grounder from Wells down to Vientos, who, he looked really good on that play. For anyone else, it's pretty much a routine double play, but Viento's been a little shaky on his fielding, and then you got to make the throw, but he did it, pretty flawlessly. He grabbed it right close to the base, turned around, threw it to second. Bichette made a nice play, and Vientos was right there back at the bag to cover for an in double play. It's very exciting. Obviously, they watch my videos and they know that when teams don't score in the top of the 10th, as I say, they're going to lose. And that's exactly what happened. The Yankees didn't score in the top of the 10th. Mets came up in the bottom. Semien on second base. Ewing came up, did a little bunt to get him the third. Torrens batted after that. He got hit by the pitch. And then we had first and third with one out. Yankees brought in a outfielder to have 5 infielders on the field at the time. And Benj came up looking to be the hero once again. Hit a little bouncer, went over the pitcher's head, and the two of the 5 infielders collided. I don't know if they would have had a play either way. It could have been close if it was fielded cleanly and they made a good throw, and maybe if there were 2 outs, they could have made the play to first. But with 1 out, they had to go home no matter what to prevent the game from ending. So a little bit of confusion. I'm sure that's not something that's worked on a whole lot, but yeah, that's how we won the game. Benj with another walk-off. It was beautiful. Couple thoughts. Game 1, Schlittler just dominant. Didn't give us anything. Holmes left after 4 1/3 with the injury. Soto with the home run, and then Beatty with the RBI in the 9th. That was all we were able to manage. Game 2, the little Brazoban-Peterson combo. Got us 5 1/3 with 10 strikeouts. The Rodon play was hilarious, but that gave us 2 runs. Vientos had 3 RBIs on the game, and then Weaver with the huge effort coming in with the bases loaded and no outs, got us out of that, and then pitched another inning. And then we go to game 3. Peralta not looking good. Out of 96 pitches, he only threw 44 strikes. Mania came in. He was bad and good, but his velocity was up some. Torrens with the 2 RBI double to make it closer. We gave up the additional run, and then Taylor came up and was the hero, basically. Tied the game with 2 outs in the 9th. Benj with the walk-off, also the hero. Devin Williams, coincidentally, his last 5 outings, 4 2/3 innings, 6 strikeouts, and 2 walks. No hits and no runs. So he's looking solid for us. We need to secure all these leads we get and get a win out of it. So Mets 10-5 in May after their horrible April, and then we go to play the Nationals for 4. All right, guys. Hey, we got some momentum going. Like I said, Uh, these games are just like any other, but obviously, the players may feel different. Gives them a good feeling to, especially the way we won the third game. So we got to keep it going. Let's take it to the Nationals. Let's go Mets.